Friends and distinguished cohorts, we've made it, and as many of you who know me will have predicted, my practicum will discuss the use of mobile devices at live events. I also hope to better understand how to deal with what for me was the true paradox of the live event, that many performers harp on ideas about driving change in each other and the world, yet little is actually done to accomplish these ends. Now, I do believe that these intentions come from a noble place, but the awareness campaigns that they are meant to be all too often are toothless and lack potency in my opinion. My affinity for technology and grooming for a career in marketing led me to wonder, how does the connectedness that comes from mobile technology change all that? How can the power of live events be channeled or influenced by this new technology? And how should we be producing the events of tomorrow if we want to use them as a platform for personal growth and culture change? To answer these questions, I looked at innovation, socialization, sense-making, relevance, jabs, influence, power, ad-free brands, blue oceans, and stakeholders. Now, the plan that I constructed involved 3 stages. Interviews with leader experts, which, as you might imagine, is someone who has qualified as both a leader and an expert in both live events and mobile. For this research, I included Serge Rameau, the founder of Intellytics, which is an RFID festival wristband company, Tony Ganma, a pioneering developer of geolocation technology and mobile apps, Barak Shore, who is a founder of Want Tickets, which is a ticketing company supporting nightlife and large events nationwide, and Michael Becker, a professor on mobile marketing, an entrepreneur, and the former managing director of the Mobile Marketing Association for North America. So I talked to these 3 guys, and then I took all that I learned these 4 guys, and then I took all that I learned in those interviews, set up a survey in Qualtrics, and coordinated a contest with it using contacts of my own at the Do Lab, which is a festival creator and promoter, and then I arranged for sponsored ads to be placed in social media through a festival and travel industry publisher called Fest 300, which covers the top 300 most loved festivals in the world. Over 400 people responded to the survey. From the survey, I went off to a large-scale live event to perform in-field ethnographic research using social media and iBeacons with an app. This data ended up being much more dense than I initially realized, so I'll make some observations here and include a number of ideas for future research with these insights, but I won't get too deep into what I got from the festival. So upon completing my initial interviews, I found that there are 3 distinct means of communicating at events via mobile, each with its own advantages and challenges. Here's a table of those for native mobile apps, wearable technology, and mobile-enabled social media. I also found that there were a few interesting topics that continued to come up. A lot of those had to do with engagement opportunities, competition for relationships with the consumer. Those tended to be a barrier to integration. Privacy, legitimacy, and fraud issues kept coming up. Mobile web traffic clearly is on the rise. I was able to actually verify that from my end. And consumer desires will be key in the future. So it looks like if we want to know what to do, we're going to have to follow the consumer, and they're going to have to tell us. So these data informed my survey, which focused on 2 key areas. First, I looked at the dispositions of consumers towards mobile device use in a festival environment. And second, I looked at the actual usage of mobile devices for the following purposes shown here. So understanding now how people are using their phones at festivals, I headed off to Indio, California to work with a team of artists bringing a massive art installation to the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. We placed an iBeacon within this guy, a building-sized caterpillar, and another in this, a nearly equally massive butterfly. We continued in 2 of the 3 ways described previously, using the Coachella mobile app via iBeacons and social media, which included Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Flickr, and Tumblr. The third sort of mobile interaction, which we were unable to test, was the use of wearable devices with this kind of an interaction. So despite this, my research, I think, proved useful as a framework for understanding how to incorporate mobile at events. Additionally, I found on site that there were so many competing brands that a significant portion, 29%, opted not to use a mobile device at all. So this may be part of the connectivity challenge that we've seen. Also could be part of a battery life challenge, but I think it could also be viewed as a portion of the festival community that would rather disconnect from the rest of the world or the brands and all entirely. So for those folks, wearables may function as a means of engaging with brands in a way that is voluntary, isn't forced upon them through a screen. For instance, respondents indicated taking pictures or video was an activity they engaged in the most. Yet battery life and connectivity could impact that consumer experience, right? So to get around this, what if a brand set up an outdoor photo or video booth activated by an RFID wristband scanner? Then with a second scan, that footage could be shared to Facebook or Twitter with the brand logo in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, that's a jab that provides a lot of value with no strings attached. Just allows the consumer to associate that brand with the positive experience at the event. So this is just one application of this knowledge, but you can see that practitioners like mobile marketers, event organizers, artist brands, and promoters can use these insights to better connect with and meet the desires of consumers. Conversely, by overlooking the disadvantages of mobile apps, wearable devices, and mobile-enabled social media, brands will risk, at best, costly inefficiencies, or at worst, they could alienate their consumers entirely by disrupting their experience, especially if messaging appears to only be for selfish reasons. The science is still young in this area as the technology is so new, so to make the most of this opportunity, further research will be needed to move the body of scholarship down this long road. But the research included here today should be a step in the right direction.